friends, welcome here. My name is Oshina. I'm so glad you clicked on this video. Let's hang out together. I'm going to talk about my 2026 TBR and some must reads for you guys. So I'm going to talk about the books I haven't read that are on my radar for next year. And then I'm also going to share books that I have read that I think you guys should read in the new year. So it's kind of a double feature in this video. So sit back, relax, let's chat. I'm in my cozy sweater and I'm here to chat books with you. So let's do it. So let's get on the same page. I'm doing a couple things in the new year. If you haven't watched my reading goals video, I'll link it down below. I have a lot of updates in that video as well. Big update is that my sister and I bought a house and we are moving next year. So it's still crazy to even say that out loud, but yeah, we move in at the end of February and we will be moving and doing all the things that it takes to move all of your stuff into a new house. So we're very excited about that, but that is going to dictate what my reading will look like in the first 2 months of the year. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I did announce in that reading goals video as well that I'm doing a Francine Rivers book club in the new year and I'm so excited about it. So Bridge to Haven is the first book that we'll be reading together in January. So all of her books are definitely on my TBR for 2026, so I'm not going to hold all of them up. I'll link the video down below if you want to join the book club. It's free. We're just going to read these books and then I'm going to do a live show on YouTube discussing our thoughts together. So very excited about that. I'm going to start stacking my TBR behind me so you guys can follow along. I also do have a Patreon and I just added a third tier to the Patreon, so very excited about that. But for the second tier, we still are doing a buddy read every month and the poll is currently tied. I haven't looked at it since this morning. So since this morning it's been tied, and the two books that are tied, first one is Hidden Places by Lynn Austen, but the other one is A Time to Die. So I don't know which one is gonna win. I've asked everyone, please vote so that we can have a tiebreaker, but A Time to Die is by Nadine Brandes. I have never read this book, but I've actually heard really good things. I think it's a trilogy, so I will hopefully be getting the first book from the library, and then I do own Hidden Places, and part of what my TBR goals are for the new year is to shrink my physical TBR to 10 books or less, which is very lofty because I've got two full shelves right here, way more than 10 books. And I would really like to work on it before we move. So we'll see if I can do it, but Hidden Places will help because it's on the physical TBR and I want to read it. So this is a historical fiction and I think it's a standalone. And you follow this woman who, I think she has a son, she has a farm, and this guy comes to help with the farm, and it's a romance. So I hope that it's good. It is definitely older looking, but maybe it's an oldie but a goodie. We'll see. This is kind of turning into just like a January TBR, but that's fine. This is for 2026, I promise. And I'm doing all of like the Christian fiction first. I kind of just like whizzed right into it. I'm excited to chat. So just, get cozy. Okay, so next up for Christian fiction, Into a Golden Era by Gabrielle Meyer. I am now fangirl of the Timeless series. And Into a Golden Era, I think the cover is so beautiful. There's something about the girls on the cover and what they're wearing and just their silhouettes. I just think that it's so beautiful and I'm very excited about it. I think it's during like the gold rush is one of the eras. No idea what the other one is. I'm currently reading through each tomorrow. So yeah, I'm excited to read this new release, Into a Golden Era. I guess I'm just following the series now. So I assume that she's going to be releasing 2 books in the series in the new year. So I do plan to read them when they release. Who would have thought? I did not see that one coming, but yeah, very excited about it. Okay, more Christian fiction by Connilyn Cossette, Cities of Refuge. I read the first book called A Light on the Hill and loved it. So I definitely want to continue the series. It is a companion series, but you should read them in order from what I understand. So I want to start with book 2. Book 2 is called Shelter of the Most High. I just loved her writing in the first book. I loved the setting and the characters, so I definitely want to dive back into this series. And yeah, there's 4 books, so it's not a trilogy. It's, what do you call a 4-book series? Quartet? Yeah. So I really want to read more by her. She just has really high quality writing in my opinion. Sometimes her pacing can be a little off at times, but that's okay. I know she has quite a few series out as well, so I'm a little bit behind, but it's kind of nice that there's a long backlist for me to read from. So I'm going to slowly read through them. My library has a few of her books. It doesn't have all of them though. So I'll have to see what I can do. I do know that the library has all 4 of these books though for Cities of Refuge, so that's nice. So that's why I put it on here. Okay, and then a Melanie Dickerson book. I didn't have a specific one because she has a huge backlist as well, but Melanie Dickerson writes like young adult fairy tale retellings from what I can see. So I've DNF'd one of her books and then I've enjoyed one of her books. So we'll see if I can like more, but she's like a solid author for parents that want to find like clean and but interesting, well-written-ish books for your kids to read. So I want to read more of them so that I can actually recommend them, and we'll see. I did read one of her books in December and that kind of made me think like, oh, there are some books by her that I could like. I want to keep reading from them. So you will see in my December wrap-up which book that I read, but my library has quite a few of her books with audiobook and with physical books, so it's nice. I have quite a few varieties to choose from, so I will see what piques my interest, and I do want to read at least one of her books in the new year, if not more. Okay, here's one that is kind of exciting. It's called Dancing Toward Forever by Emily Hampton. This author contacted me on TikTok and she actually sent me this book for free, so thank you to her. And she did send me another one as well. She writes Christian romance and she's indie published, but I just really like the way that she markets herself. She is writing with a specific like single Christian girl in mind, and a girl who doesn't quite know her worth or doesn't like believe what God says about her, and then she writes stories to kind of like showcase how God really does feel about us. I've already read one of her books that she sent and I really enjoyed it, so again, that'll be in my December wrap up. This is the other book that she sent me and I definitely want to dive into this. I don't know much about this other than I think it's about dancing, obviously Dancing Towards Forever. So it says Brooke has always found refuge in the bar. Bar as in like the dancing bar? I don't know dancing terms. B-A-R-R-E. Isn't that like the bar you like hold on to when you're dancing? Where perfect pirouettes and controlled pliés keep her demons at bay. But when the role that was supposed to belong to her late best friend Danielle becomes hers alone, the weight of grief threatens to undo everything she's worked for. The dream was theirs, but now it's just hers and it feels like a betrayal. Enter Emmett. He's the guy who caught her bag after a runaway skateboard nearly sent her to an early grave in Grand Central Station. Yes. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna read, but yeah, it just sounds like it's gonna be good. She writes wholesome, you know, no spice, no language books, and I'm excited to read more from her. So here's the next one. Okay, similarly, this author contacted me on Instagram, and just the way that she talked about the book and just our interaction, it was a really positive one. So I was like, yes, I will give your book a try. So here it is. It's called The Wizard Thimble by Wendy Rogers, illustrated by Ellie Rogers. So obviously Wendy Rogers is the author. Her daughter is Ellie Rogers and the daughter illustrated the book. So that is really cool. The illustrations are like at the beginning of each chapter, but like here's a crown with a bird in it. There's a tree. So that's cute, right? And then maybe she like designed the cover too. I don't know. But here we go, you guys. I definitely feel like this is gonna be outside my comfort zone. It's obviously fantasy and we'll see, but I think it's supposed to be Christian allegory. So what it says is Cedar was never meant to be a hero. Born with a twisted leg and raised in the shelter of the mountains, he wants only to care for his goats and protect his family. But when a wounded stranger stumbles into his life carrying secrets that could shatter a kingdom, Cedar is thrust into a world of kings, betrayal, and ancient magic. At the same time, Aster, already a skilled fighter, is drawn into the same storm. Though fearless in battle, he struggles with doubts no sword can strike down. When fate brings the two together, an unlikely friendship is forged, one that may determine not only their survival, but the survival of the kingdom itself. Okay, yeah, so we're following boys, which is kind of different. For me, I usually read girl books, but we shall see. I will let you guys know. And again, thank you to the author for taking a chance, because it's definitely a little risky to give me a fantasy book, but I'll give it a fair shot and I'll let you guys know. Okay, this next one I'm really excited about just because it's so cute. So, Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Cincotti. So I follow her on TikTok, and she announced that she got picked up by a traditional publisher. So originally she self-published this book. It is so cute. I think she designed the cover herself as well. Because she got picked up, all of her indie copies on Amazon were on mega sale. So I did end up buying this because it was on sale, and I was hoping that the publisher wouldn't make her change certain things, because I have heard this is like fully clean and doesn't have any language. We shall see. It's young adult, so we'll see. But publishers tend to want more language in young adult books and some spice. So I hope that they don't influence her in that. But just in case, I wanted the indie copy because I wanted originally what she put in it. Yeah, it is the kind of thing that I have to like be thinking about now, because like secular publishers are just very anti-values right now. So anyways, picking Daisies on Sundays. It's supposed to be a very cute romance book. So Daniela, so cute. Daniela Daisy Maria wanted love. It's all she hoped for when watching endless rom-coms every Friday night. What she hadn't hoped for was to find it in her childhood best friend Levi. It was the hand-trembling, heart-thumping kind of love that wasn't supposed to happen when you saw your best friend. But it all ended when he didn't feel the same way, and she vowed to never see him again. 4 years later, and one night in a crowded bar in the West Village, there he was, just as perfect as ever. Okay, so it's not young adult? Crowded bar? Ooh. Wait a second. She couldn't say no when he asked her to be his fake girlfriend for his sister's wedding. I didn't know it was fake dating. Okay. There is hope for this book. I will let you guys know, but I'm excited about it. Okay, moving into just like secular fiction. So I have friends in real life that also like to read, and we were talking about Brandon Sanderson. And I was like, there's no way I'll like any of his books. It's too fantasy for me. Like, no. And I've actually heard this online as well, but my friend was like, well, if you don't really like fantasy, like the easiest book to start with him, if you don't like fantasy, is Tress of the Emerald Sea. And so she lent me her book, and I was like, I don't know. But I took it anyways because, like, you know what? I will humor you and give it a try. So I have Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. And I just never thought I would ever read a Brandon Sanderson because his books are ginormous and they're epic fantasy. And if there's, I don't know, like if the characters aren't interesting enough and if I'm confused, I just cannot, you know? But this book is supposed to be really sweet because Brandon Sanderson wrote it for his wife, and then his wife was like, you need to publish this. So the back literally has like a little note. It says, "Dear reader, I started writing this in secret as a novel just for my wife. She urged me to share it with the world, and alongside 3 other secret novels with the support of readers worldwide, it grew into the biggest Kickstarter campaign of all time." Which I remember seeing people post about his Kickstarter, and I didn't realize that, like, it looks like it was published by Tor, so that's like a real publisher. So I don't get what that means. But anyways, and then it's like large, but look at the inside. It's so pretty. The inside pages. I love the flowers. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so you know, I am still worried. I'm still worried. He has so many books. Chapter 1, The Girl. Oh man, I hope I like it. So we'll see, but that's, you know, on the TBR, and I want to read it before we move because I just do. But then she gave me another one. And I've never heard of this book, and tell me if you guys have read this, if you've heard of it. Look at this book. It is called Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. It says a Cosmere novel. Never seen this cover before, never heard of this book. Like, all I know is Mistborn and the Stormlight Archives. Here we go. It says, Yumi has spent her entire life in strict obedience, granting her the power to summon the spirits that bestow vital aid upon her society. But she longs for even a single day as a normal person. Painter patrols the dark streets dreaming of being a hero, a goal that has led to nothing but heartache and isolation. In their own ways, both of them face the world alone. Suddenly flung together, Yumi and Painter must strive to right the wrongs in both their lives. If they cannot unravel the mystery of what brought them together before it's too late, they risk forever losing not only the bond growing between them, but the very worlds they've always struggled to protect. We'll see. I mean, there's obviously romance in it, and that's why my friend recommended it to me, But the rest of it though, I don't think I'm gonna like it. We'll see, but like not high hopes. It's at least floppy, but it's still like kind of big. So let me know, you guys, will I like this book? Okay, next up, Just Friends by Pham. Yes, I did decide to pre-order this because I do follow her on YouTube, and she's been posting about her writing process, and I've seen like all the things, and I really hope, first of all, that she doesn't put any language in this book, and I hope that it's spice free. But it's going to be popular enough that I do want to give my opinion, because I know a lot of young people follow her, and it's kind of iconic, like another YouTuber turned author. We've seen some flop in the past, we've seen some excel, so I'm just curious, like, if her popularity will be enough to get her enough readers that will actually like her book. I think it's adult, I think it's second chance romance, I think it's, yeah, that. I think it's dual timeline as well. The cover is so cute, so yeah, I did pre-order this because I just want to know, and I decided that it was going to be worth it. So that is that. We shall see, you guys. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews so far, but I'm going to go in with an open mind and give her the benefit of the doubt, because that could be me someday, I hope. You know, like, I want to write a book too, and good for her for actually doing it and getting it published. So we shall see, you guys. Okay, you know how I said a Melanie Dickerson book? I also want to read a Fredrik Backman book. How do you actually say his last name? Is it Backman or Bachman? I don't know. But anyways, I got this from the library, my friends. I don't think I'm gonna read it. But sometimes I just do that. Like, I request random books, see if they come in. Oh, they do. Okay, here it is. But I don't plan to read this anytime soon. But I do want to read a Fredrik Backman in the new year. So tell me your favorite book by him. Which one will I like? I don't know if what he writes about I will like. And I don't know what his like content is like if he uses a lot of swear words, if he has spice in his books. I don't know. I do know that sometimes there's assault in his books, but we'll see. So I know Beartown is very popular. I've also seen Anxious People. I'm interested in that one. And then My Friends was his 2025 release. So I happened to get my hands on this from the library, but I'm probably going to send it back because I don't want to read it right now. And yeah, so Fredrik Backman, I just want to know, like, do I like his writing? I don't know. Okay, another kind of random one is The Wish by Nicholas Sparks. I love a few of Nicholas Sparks's books, and then there's some that I just haven't read, and I don't like a tragic ending. I want a happy ending every single time, most of the time. If I know I'm going into a book that will have a tragic ending, I don't want to go into it, kind of thing. But I think I've heard that The Wish doesn't have a tragic ending. I've heard really good things about it, and I just am curious about it. Some of his more like, some of his latest releases actually do interest me. I think from what it seems, he's going down a literary fiction route rather than romance, but I could just be making that up. But I'm interested. I'm interested in giving him a try, and The Wish is the one that I want to try. So if you've read The Wish, let me know. Did you like it? And we'll see. But yeah, I do want to read a Nicholas Sparks book in the new year, and I think it's going to be The Wish. But there's so many books. Again, he has a lot of books, and I don't know. You know what? Have I even read what this is about? I'm scared to. I want to go in blind. I'm not going to read it. I want to go in blind, so... Okay, some young adult that I want to try. You know that reading young adult and reviewing it is one of the like content pillars of my rebrand. I do enjoy reading young adult, and I've kind of also enjoyed giving kind of an unfiltered review to let you know what the content really is like, and is it appropriate for teenagers, in my opinion, based on my like Christian values. And my values are not going to be the exact same as yours, so it's not a perfect system, but it's at least a starting point for you. So anyways, I do have a few on my radar that are very popular. And the first trilogy is the Cruel Prince trilogy by Holly Black. And I've seen this all around. Pham has recommended it quite a bit, and there's a few spin-off books, but it's originally a trilogy. The thing is, I put this on my list, and now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's about fairies though. I am pretty certain that it follows fairies. And I have found over and over again, if I read a fairy book, I don't like it because the way that the fairies are characterized are just like these like evil sexual creatures that just want to have their way with humans, and the humans don't mind. And I don't like that. So I don't know if I'll actually try The Cruel Prince after all, but it's so popular. I want to at least try the first book, I think. And then we'll see. We'll go from there, but I don't know. But then the other trilogy that I'm interested in is the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. This is an old trilogy that was like popular when I was in like late high school, early university years. And I just never got around to it because the covers in particular never interested me. It looked just like a type of fantasy that I wouldn't like. And I have no idea what it is. I know it's the Grisha verse, but I have no idea what Grisha are. I know also that the duology that comes after it, which is called Six of Crows, excuse me, Six of Crows. I know the Six of Crows duology is really popular, so maybe I'll go into that one, but I definitely want to start with Shadow and Bone. So we'll see. We'll see if I can like it. I think this is the era where it was still like minimal to no language and no spice. So I hope that's true. I'm trying to find some young adult options for you guys. I'm trying to find recommendations that I can actually recommend. It's pretty tough. And there's also like some books by Leigh Bardugo, like what she's publishing now, I would never touch. Never touch. Even just the covers and the titles of some of her more recent releases, I'm like, keep that far away from me. Like just kind of evil vibes. I don't like it. So that's why I also like am not sure about this, but again, it's like old and I think that the content won't be too bad. So I'm trying to read through some of the like really popular young adult trilogies and books that I just never got to when I was around that age. So those are the two that are interesting me right now, but there's so many options. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know actually if there's a young adult trilogy or book that you keep seeing around that you would be interested in seeing a review from me for, because I'm open to anything. I will try anything and I'll be honest about it. And I'm not here to like rag on these books and just give negative reviews. I'm trying to find good books. There's just a lot to weed through that are not good. So okay, one author I forgot to mention. You will notice, I guess, in the last little bit that I've been really into Freida McFadden's books. I started with The Housemaid and I pretty much was hooked. I was hooked by her writing style and I do like the way that she ends her books. Her endings, I appreciate them because I don't want to like give much away, but like the main character you're following, I just appreciate how things work out for them in her books so far. So these are some that I haven't read by her, and I think probably I will read all of these in the new year eventually, just because they're so easy to pick up and binge. The audiobooks are well done, like just all of it is good. So I've got The Inmate here, definitely very curious about this one. Then The Tenant, I think, is one of her newer releases from this year, potentially. Such an eerie cover. It's like pink, but then she's like, I don't know what she's trying to do. She's like opening a cupboard maybe, and there's blood on it. Oh boy. And then The Perfect Sun, so ominous. And then Do Not Disturb. Yeah, so I probably will end up reading all of those books in the new year, so I just wanted to share them. They're not really like, I don't need, some of these books I don't have to put on this list because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna read them, but just to share with you guys what's on my radar. Okay, so on to now my recommendations for you guys, what I think should be on your 2026 TBR. So these are like, yeah, some must reads for you that if you want to read books that I recommend, here is a pretty solid list. First of all, because I am doing a Francine Rivers book club, I do suggest that you join it because now's your chance to read her books and you won't be alone reading them, which is kind of nice. So again, we're starting with Bridge to Haven, but if you don't care about a book club, you want to do whatever you want to do, go for it. These are the two books I would recommend by her though. If you've never read any book by her, Bridge to Haven or Redeeming Love, I think showcase her writing style and her talent perfectly. So, and they're also like standalones, which is nice. Like she has a very popular trilogy you could start with, but it's, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily recommend starting with that one. I think I would say start with Redeeming Love, but if you don't want to read something super historical, Bridge to Haven is like a little bit less historical. It's like set in the 1960s where this is like the 1850s. So yeah, but both of these books deal with women kind of in the spotlight and the way that they are objectified and how they learn about what their worth is, what God says about them, and how God saves them, and then also how they find romance. So her writing is just impeccable. I'm so excited to dive into her books. So yeah, first book on your list. Okay, another standalone I recommend is Everything's Coming Up Rosy by Courtney Walsh. This book blew me away. It is truly good. Like, the cover and even the title kind of makes it look like it's going to be like cutesy and lighthearted and kind of shallow, but it is not. It's not, because the way that she structured the story and the characters, it gave it depth, because there's so many side characters kind of surrounding Rosie and how they all impact her life and who she is as a person and how she impacts them. And the kind of like group dynamics were so well done. Then plus the romance was the cutest thing ever. Like, I loved the writing of that. I loved the dialogue and the banter. Like, some of it felt very fresh. It was like certain romantic scenes that I just haven't seen done before, and that was very impressive. And then the life lessons in this book too. Like, it is just a solid standalone contemporary romance with no faith content, but just like fully clean, and I just loved it. I loved it. I still think about it. I definitely would reread this book. Like, it is a favorite, and I don't know. I think a lot of people could like it if you like contemporary romance. Of course, there's cutesy, silly things that happen, but they all build towards like a very solid ending that was well done. So recommend. Now, if you do want to read a series, a romance series, highly recommend this one by Melissa Teague. I feel like I forget that this exists, which how dare I, because it's so good. So this is Autumn by the Sea. It's a little bit more seasonal, so we're leaving autumn, obviously, but I still think you could read this. It does kind of like lead up to Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, so the story is worth it. It is so well crafted. This is a trilogy, and you definitely need to read them in order. It does follow different characters, but the story builds on itself, and it all culminates in the third book so perfectly. I was very impressed. So there's a bit of a mystery woven through, but then there's romance in every book, and there's faith content in every book. I can't even explain how well done this is, but it's like small coastal town, found family, really funny dialogue, and just like witty banter and all the things. Very, very good. So highly recommend this one if you have not read Melissa Teague, this trilogy. It's so good. And then we're gonna end with some, are we gonna end? Yeah, we're gonna end with some romantic suspense. So if you don't know, I do love this author, Lynn H. Blackburn, and if you've never read a book by her, I would recommend starting with Unknown Threat, because this is what I started with and it's what hooked me. So I think it is a good one to start with because it worked on me. So also look at all the tabs. Yeah, these are all of the cutie romance or like funny moments that I loved in this book. So there's a lot, and right away I could just tell the way that she wrote her characters, the way they interact. Like, she is a master at writing group dynamics, dialogue, character work. So well done. Her mysteries are what don't really matter. Like, they could be interchangeable. I don't care. It is the characters for me. And that is what I love about these books. The action is interesting because I care about what's happening to the characters and what they're doing. And even within the action, it's not just a whole bunch of action. It's like characters talking and thinking and stuff like that when there's action happening. That's what I like about it. So I recommend, this is book 1 in the Defend and Protect trilogy. She has 3 trilogies. One is almost finished. The third book comes out in the new year, but this one is a completed one. So I do recommend checking it out. And yeah, this is what hooked me. It follows law enforcement, but of course there's romance and really great found family in this one too. So love. Okay, and then Melissa Coslin, you guys, she is so good. I wish she could put out more books, but we've got Dangerous Beauty. This one you should be able to get from the library because it was published by Revell, but she has gone indie published now. So Dangerous Beauty, it's a standalone, and it does follow human trafficking. So it's pretty intense, but what I love about her writing is she goes deep into the characters. I really do prefer a character-driven story rather than plot-driven. If the characters are interesting, they could be doing anything and I would like it. So, well, almost. You know, there's a few that it doesn't work like that. But for this one, I mean, there's still stuff happening, but it's a marriage of convenience and you are watching the characters figure this out and also try to like protect her from being trafficked again. It's pretty intense, but her writing is just so good about it. And then here's an indie published one. It's called The Lost Library. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling and it is so stinking cute. It's slow burn. Like that's another thing. The way she writes her romances in her books, slow burn. So yeah, isn't this so cute? I want to read this again. The slow burn in this book is so good. Okay, yeah. Beauty and the Beast. On the run, looking for this lost library book, kind of. And it's like, also I would say that her books are far-fetched, but I don't care. Like the way she writes her characters though, I love it. So highly recommend that. Okay, I feel like I've been talking a long time. Thank you for watching. I'm going to write all of the books down below. I'll link videos down below that I talked about. Check the description and thank you for hanging out with me. I hope this was fun. I hope you can hear like a little bit of like music in the background, which hopefully I don't get copyrighted for that. But I do have the TV out there playing Christmas music. So, what if I get copyrighted? We'll deal with that when we come to it. Okay, it's fine. I do want to announce, this is going to be my last video like for the Christmas season. So I'll come back, I think this is going to be my last video until I think the 29th, which is a Monday. So I'm going to take the week of Christmas off and just celebrate with my family. And then my sister and I are going to a wedding on the 27th. So we're going to be busy. So I wanted to just make this little video and then I will see you guys later for more content. I have been planning away and it just is very exciting to think about all the things coming in the new year. So I will chat more with you when I come back. But for now, I'm going to have my Christmas little holiday break and I wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Thank you for being on my channel with me. I love you all and I'm just excited to keep going with this. So thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.